but how will these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in to tell you just that. What the trade setup is looking like, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. First up, Ekta, let me come across to you. Tell us, what is the market setup looking like today?
Thanks for that. Well, yes, on Friday's trading session, we really had Infosys and HUL, which soured sentiment as markets snapped that two-day gaining streak. But the banks and the mid-caps were fairly resilient. We had FIIs which net sold for the first time in 6 sessions. For today, the markets will be reacting to Reliance Industries, ICICI Bank, Kotak, Yes Bank, RBL Bank, so a whole host of cues to watch out for. The US, like you mentioned, eked out a narrow gain on Friday. It was the 10th straight positive session. We have the SGX, which is indicating a little bit of a soft start at this point in time. Again, earnings will continue to be in focus. Canara Bank, HDFC Asset Management, Tata Steel, to name a few, which will be releasing numbers today. We also have the US Fed meet later on this week, ECB policy, Bank of Japan, so it is going to be a lot of central bank action. But as of now, we will be determinant in terms of what the earnings are doing, considering that Infosys and HUL really set the tone in terms of the markets and the importance of earnings this quarter as well. So it will be Reliance as well as banks which will be top of mind today, and a whole host of earnings along with the central bank meets which will be in focus through the week. So as of now, the GIFT Nifty is indicating a little bit of a soft start.
Okay, a soft start is what we're expecting today. Thank you, Ekta, for that. But a lot of stocks that will be in focus. We did have a lot of earnings to track as well. Surbhi has that list. Good morning, Surbhi.
Good morning. So a lot of earnings. Let's start with Reliance first. There was strong earnings. There was improvement in the operational front. The O2C business did better than expected. Kotak Mahindra Bank, the deposit growth on a year-on-year basis was the best in 16 quarters. The ROA remains robust and the PNL beats all expectations. ICICI Bank, the quarterly ROA remains at an all-time high of 2.39%. The gross NPA and the net NPA ratios are the lowest in 8 to 9 years. RBL Bank, again a strong operational quarter. Deposits were up 8% on a year-on-year basis. Advances were up 21% on a year-on-year basis. Paytm, it was a weak quarter on a sequential basis. The total income was up 38% on a year-on-year basis. The EBITDA was 360 crores versus a loss of 275 crores same time last year. IGL revenue was down 7.5% sequentially. The operating margins came in at nearly 19% versus 13% in the previous quarter. Other than that, Yes Bank, AU Small Finance Bank, Titagar Rail, Vedanta, all will be in focus on back of earnings.
Okay, all right. A lot of earnings again. So let's talk about the F&O space now. Nigel is joining in with all those cues. Hey, Nigel.
Hey, morning, Sonal. In Friday's trading session, you had the IT stocks that were under some pressure. So you look at the net institutional number, that's the FI and the DI number together. They were sellers to the tune of close to 700 crores. And on an average, for July, well, there's been an inflow of close to 700 crores. So the swing was nearly around 1,400 crores. The FIs were a little bit cautious. They're selling in the cash market. They added some shorts in the index futures. And now, in fact, they still continue to remain net long on the index, but some short addition is what we saw. On the option side, well, they're buying calls as well as puts. What told you that maybe in the near term, their upside could be a little bit capped is because of the writing that we saw on the call side. They wrote more than 3 lakh call contracts, and they wrote it in the ratio of 2:1. So more number of calls in comparison to number of puts. And the PCR that we were highlighting that, yes, it's moved to overshot levels of 1.5, 1.6 odd. That's cooled down to around 0.9. That would mean that there's a lot of addition on the call side, and there would be some unwinding on the put side going by that ratio. And which strikes were active? Well, the 19,800, 19,900 call. Between them, there was close to around 1.3 crore shares added out there, which brings us to the levels. Since there is writing being seen at those levels, well, you'll see that 19,900 odd mark, that's the first level of resistance. On the downside, well, there was a fair bit of open interest at around that 19,650, 19,700 odd put. So that's where we're saying that around 19,650 to 19,680, that'll be a bit of a support zone. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Nigel, Surbhi and Ekta for joining us and prepping us up for this trading day ahead. Let's slip into a break. Up next, Reliance, ICICI Bank and Kotak Mahindra Bank have released their Q1 numbers. We'll get to the earnings fine print on the other side. Stay tuned for that.